Good evening, chat. Hello. Welcome to the show. And yeah, tonight we're gonna change it up a little bit. I think we've had enough doom and gloom and the idea that we may have to go out and you may have to go out and wipe out your local communist party chapter at some point here in the future. We talked about that enough. We've done enough Fed posting. We've done enough talking about a little bit of fieldcraft there. So let's talk about something funny. I think that's a good thing for tonight because tomorrow night we're going to be going back into, since the past week, we're going to be going back into some pretty serious shit. So I think it's important we kind of have a little bit of a laugh tonight. And we're going to have a laugh at the expense of Stuttering John. Now, like I said, guys, this is the Dabbleverse stuff. I get it. I'm not really in the lore. I'm a tourist in this right now. But what's there, and yes, I'm not a New York licensed attorney, but from what's been presented so far, it's just an example of when you hire an attorney, you don't want to hire an attorney that's like you. And Stuttering John basically looks to have hired the Stuttering John version of an attorney. You want to hire an attorney that's, you might get along with, you could develop a rapport with, but is not like you because that just leads to problems. And there are like Stuttering John level problems. Like if Stuttering John had gone to law school, this is, he's an oaf, and this is the kind of shit that he would file. So I know people are, they don't like covering this, but I think it's good because it just shows you how garbage this is. And I think at this point now, we've gone through so much stuff. A bunch of you are probably sitting there kind of going like, oh yeah, I think that would be wrong, and that wrong, and that wrong, and that wrong. Make you feel smart too. We're all going to feel smarter tonight after we get through this. So, late legal mindset. Yes, thank you, Eric. Thank you. And then real quick here, couple other things here. Tone is saying, or Tone, like the Japanese cruiser, the Battle of Midway, didn't get a bunch of search planes off fast enough. Didn't find the fleet quick enough. It says Sean has stopped scheduling his Stuttering John streams on Wednesdays. It clashes with the WATP live stream. They're not gonna watch me. They're not gonna watch me, so it doesn't really matter. I didn't even know that, but I mean, it's not like they're gonna go, "You're fat." That's all they're gonna do. They're gonna come over. They're gonna be like, "You're fat. You're always wrong." It's like, okay, thank you. Forgot the always wrong part. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even realize that, but oh well. It's not like they're gonna be here. So, I don't want too many Dabbleverse tourists shitting up the live chat. I don't really care who comes in. I mean, dude, we use Somalia rules. As long as you're not Fed posting, and violating TOS, or just like spamming like a tard, I really don't care what you do. We have Somalia rules, but those are the rules we have. And being the supreme warlord of Somalia, I could do what I want. And remember, guys, there's only one person I'll ban on site. So, Tony says I'm doing stuff on the libraries. Like I said, I didn't even realize it was a thing. So, whoops. Like I said, that's how much I know about the Dabbleverse. That like when Carl goes live, I not too worried about it. So, you're dressing a lowly gray. Yes. Well, that's we're all here. We're all a family. We're all a family. Damn, they have you nailed. Yes. I'm in the Dabbleverse. Yeah, like I said, I stuck my toe in. I'm good now. I'm good now. Good enough. Good enough. I'm good enough to do it. Matthew Maddox says, me, I'm the one who gets banned on site. No. Sweet Tooth Fairy says, who would you ban? Well, if you're here, it's not you. And when it happens, you'll know. I have a blacklist and it's only got one name on it. Now, in real life, it's more about who's on the whitelist versus the blacklist. But yeah, you're on the whitelist, chat, except for one person. Sean's gray now. Sorry, Greens. Ag says the toe won today. What, like, what did he win? Like, he didn't have court. What happened? Did someone get? Oh, I know what you guys are talking about. Okay, yeah. I mean, is it really a win though? I guess. One less. Now instead of one show with 2 people A-logging him, he's probably gonna end up with 2 shows of people A-logging. So the A-logging just increased partially. I don't know. Hold on one sec. My lovely, lovely producer. Getting all confused. It happens very frequently with women. So the toe A-log extending universe. I mean, yeah, but hey, that gives Aaron twice the content to respond to. Well, it gives him something to talk about. Because the Vikings aren't playing. He ain't got shit to do. Oh. So let me see here. Sean needs a roll in the grass too. Yeah, just like Clyde. I know. So the whitelist, is that a Diddy reference? No, whitelist and blacklist. The whitelist is acceptable people, and then the blacklist is people who are denied. It's actually I think it's even a computer term. But no, the whitelist is if you're on the whitelist, you can open the door to my house at any time, and I will try to make sure I don't kill you. If you're on the blacklist and you open my door, I'm probably going to kill you. So there you go. The Franklin Arms thing, I just saw that. We're going to take a look at that. And maybe I'll see if I can get Matt to come on and help me explain that. But I have not seen it yet, so we'll take a look at that. But that is something Hunch Dirty Roofer sent me, and I'm going to take a look at it. White hats and black hats are computer terms, yes, but there's more than just that. If you're on a whitelist, you're allowed access to things. If you're blacklisted, you're not. Yes, whitelist is not working term. See, thank you. In your face, fucking seed man, your rape oil. Yeah. There we go. So, there we go. Nico says the Family Guy meme. I didn't realize it was a Family Guy meme, but it's not. I've heard that many times. I've heard that many years ago. So, when are you doing Luigi? I need to get a hold of it and take a look at it. So that'll be coming up here. Maybe we'll get to it tomorrow. That might be the big thing for tomorrow to get into. So is chat the circle of trust? Well, I don't have a circle of trust. You're not part of that. No. Have I watched Candace Owens' video? No, I'm sure she says that Charlie Kirk was a tranny along with Bridget McCrone and was helping cover it up or something. Fuck Candace Owens. She's a fucking, here, all I got to say about Candace Owens.
That little Nigger bitch.
There you go. That's all I have to say. Luigi's a Finoke. Yeah, right. Well, anyway, we're going to get going here, guys. It's enough time. So, who's going to catch me in the trust fall? Hydra Spear says, where's that clip from? These are from the LA City Council meetings, because at the LA City Council meetings, you could show up. You can't say the N-word, and you technically can't spell it. You also can't say you can't say the word nigger. You can't spell it. Can't say the word cunt. You can't spell it either. If you do, they warn you and stop you. But he did that, and because that's a crazy attorney out there who does this stuff. So, yeah. So anyways, let's get started with Stuttering John. So where we left off at, Stuttering John had filed this complaint against Carl and Shuley. And if you guys, I'll bring them back up if I have to. But Stuttering John is that kind of the douchebag comic relief of we're going to laugh at him because he's a tool. Part of the Howard Stern show. And he's suing Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, WATP. He's also suing Shuli, and Shuli's part of the Dabbleverse as well, and Shuli has his own show. And his stuff is all about, like, Shuli is really about A-logging the fuck out of Stuttering John. If you guys don't remember Stuttering John, I guess I'll pull up a picture just so you can see him. And he's banked his career that he was on Stern and basically jerks it around the whole time. That's all he's got. Like, oh, I was on Stern. Okay. Well, that's all he has. So this is Stuttering John. If you've never seen him, this is who he is. And he's, like, yeah, this is him from way, way back. And yeah, he did, apparently he's on the Tonight Show. I don't fucking know who actually fucking knew that other than the people who follow him. Like, nobody cared. Like, who cared? Like, who were the other announcers on these shows? Like, you don't know. Other than like David Letterman with the one guy. And then Rod, the guy in fucking Price is Right with Bob Barker was there. I don't, who really fuck knows? Who really fuck cares? So, who the fuck is Shuli? Shuli is Shuli Ager. He is I think he counts as a comedian. He's a comedian. He actually used to be on the Howard Stern show. He was not on the Howard Stern show the same time Stuttering John was, though. These two guys had differing tenures. But he actually, unlike Stuttering John, like, can make a career being funny, not just, Stuttering John made a career being cringe. Shuli made a career of, like, comedy. So that's who Shuli is. Then I guess we'll bring up Carl since everybody, we got to do this because people are like, who's Carl? So here's Carl. Carl's the guy from Who Are These Podcasts, WATP. And then off to the side there, that's Tukey, the puppet. But that's Carl in the middle. And, oh, God, it's like zoomed out. But anyways, that's Carl. If you guys have ever watched This Little Piggy, he's on there with him every once in a while. So Trump once says he had to be making a mint that was prime Stern. Yeah. She says the Norm quote works well here. Well, here's hoping they fired Jimmy Kimmel before they recorded tonight's show. I guess I'll get into that real quick. Guys, Stephen Colbert was being canceled because the show was just hemorrhaging like $30-40 million a year. Jimmy Kimmel could have been too far behind. ABC was probably going to cancel him anyway, and this just gave him an excuse to cancel him early. So it's not like they did this for their own reasons. I'm sure they canceled him because they were just hemorrhaging money. But yes, suffer, Jimmy, suffer. Faggot, your high point was the Man Show. Yeah, I'm going to build a church on that show, bitch. Yes, they're all losing money. They are, but those are the two big ones. So why is that guy dressed up as a luchador where he's holding the puppet? Because when he's live or when he's got to be like on screen, like, so you're not looking at him, you're looking at the puppet. I mean, that's why. Because he's not a ventriloquist. Yes, all that USAID money is done. Yes. So, yes, bring back Craig Ferguson. That would be a good one. All right. Anyways, guys, let's get back to this shit. Let's get back to the show here. All right. So Stuttering John sued them because they basically A-logged the shit out of him. That's all they do to this guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. A-logs, being a goddamn A-log. It's our duty. It's our heritage. It's our birthright as Americans to A-log the fuck out of people. But doing it forever. Thomas Paine, one of the founding A-logging fathers of America, along with other political cartoonists. You can say George Washington was the biggest A-log of all to King George. So what they do to Stuttering John, he's a fucking loser. And another woman, I'm sorry, not another woman, a woman named Kate Meany, I think she's a comedian, starts talking to Stuttering John, and Stuttering John starts being all creepy and fucking like sexual harassment-y and just cringe overall to her and fucking weird shit. While she talks to him, she takes those phone conversations and gives them to Carl and Shuli. who put together basically kind of like how they did the whole Hackamania thing with Aaron Imholt, where they're like, it's all about him. Well, they did one of these about Carl, because Carl is the center of the Dabbleverse, because, not Carl, but Stuttering John's center of the Dabbleverse. Why? Because Stuttering John, on one interview, I think it's to Chrissy Mayer, said he dabbles in comedy. So they called it, dabbling, and they went with it from there. Carl and Shuley held an event called DabbleCon, which was all about Stuttering John. And they had a party, and they were at a comedy club, and they aired the conversations that Stuttering John had with Kate Meany. Then also, Stuttering John had thrown his, when he lived in LA at the time, he had thrown out a couch. Well, people went up and stole the cushions off his couch and shipped them or brought them to Rochester, New York, where DabbleCon was. And it was like an exhibit, and it was like, ooh, and it's like the Cuck Fridge. It's exactly like the Cuck Fridge, pretty much. So Stuttering John has sued these guys under a bunch of bullshit theories and allegations, and you have to say, yes. So there you go. From here, Stuttering John has tried to sue them. Carl and Shuley have Stuttering John's attorney sucks. Carl and Shuley's attorney is really fucking good. So just like Boondock Saints, you see, shitty shooting, good shooting. Shitty lawyering, good lawyering. You could tell. And at this point now, there are some things that got filed since we were last talking about this case. And we're just going to kind of go through these real quick until we get to the parts that matter. And you'll just see, like, this is just absolutely fucking falling apart. This is pathetic from Stuttering John and his attorney. Like I said, this is a case of you when you end up hiring the attorney who's like you, and that's not how you should pick an attorney. So what did we see first? Well, Carl and Shuley, their attorney, and this is something I brought up when we were going through this, and I'm probably not the only person. I assume the other people cover this. I know there's some dabblers who cover this and go through the stuff here. They filed, a motion to transfer venue to Monroe County. And the reason why we bring that up is because where Carl did the DabbleCon thing is in the state of New York. Okay. And in the state of New York, I mean, it's a big freaking state. If you guys have never been there or tried to drive it, it is a massive state. So Carl initially sued down in New York County, which is the island of Manhattan. Where Carl and them did this was in Monroe County, New York, where Rochester is located. So that's where Carl did this. Obviously, these are not in the same place. Why did Stuttering John sue in New York City? I think it's because he wants to be like, well, I'm a big guy and I'm suing in, Manhattan. Because they're retards and they're cringe and they're gay. Stuttering John and his attorney. If you were going to do this at all, and that doesn't mean they have merits to a case or they have any real reason to do this at any point, this is where they should have sued. I'm not saying there's merit to the case, but this is the proper venue because Shuley lives in Alabama, I think, or is alleged to live in Alabama, and Carl lives in Rochester. But more importantly, the event where Shuley came to DabbleCon was in Rochester. It was here. So what better place to do it where the event occurred? That makes the most sense. Because Stuttering John lives down in Florida. And you can't sue him down, like suing them down there won't, they can ask for, it's unfair to us. We might not have contacts with the state of Florida. Among other things, including we're the defendants. Like that's unfair to hail us into the court. This one here takes away all their excuses because they were all here present. And there's no defense they can do to that to change venue or complain that's an unfair venue. Now, once again, because Stuttering John and his attorney are fucking retards, they didn't do this. So what did Stuttering John and his attorneys do? They followed it down in Manhattan. So Carl and Shuley's attorney are filing a transfer venue. And that's not even counting the motion to dismiss. In the meantime, they're arguing this. And you can argue this doesn't waive their ability to have a motion to dismiss or do anything like that. You attack everywhere you can. You do everything that you can here. So he points out that they talk about they want to transfer from New York County to Monroe County. And they say, pursuant to the law, it requires a venue transfer because New York County is not proper under the rules of civil procedure for New York. And they talk about second, the New York civil laws. They empower the court to transfer because the convenience of material witnesses and the ends of justice. Now, we're not going to go through all this, guys. This is like 27 pages long. This goes on and on and on and on and on. But they bring up some great points, and it's stuff we'd already talked about before. If this content was widely viewable everywhere, well, then you could try it anywhere. The plaintiff felt, Stuttering John felt his impact in Florida, not New York County. Yeah. The idea that New York City is the center of the entertainment industry. So the fuck what? They go on to talk about Stuttering John admits to opportunities dwindling. He's teaching full time before these events. That they allege the entertainment is centered in the New York City area, not New York County, which, yeah, the New York City area, guys, is a large area. I mean, if we're gonna do the New York City area, well, holy cow, that could be a lot of places. The New York City area is like, if you're talking to people, maybe even Philly, but like, it's easily like, this is the New York City area. That's like New York City area right there. And some people might say Philly counts as part of that. I don't know. But like, that's a big freaking area. That's not just that little county where Stuttering John's claiming is the best place. That's multiple states. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 states that this covers. So it causes some problems. There. I'd say, wouldn't you say LA is the center? Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could easily make that argument too if you really want to. They fail to allege locations to certain material events. I think that's correct. And once again, we bring up the whole issue of Stuttering John, his attorney, pulled a fucking Russell Greer, suing WATP, a YouTube channel. Is there an LLC that controls it or an entity? Because you could sue that, but you can't. That's like suing the channel potentially criminal. There's nothing there. It's like Russell Greer suing Kiwi Farms, a website. That's not an entity that can be sued. It's not even an entity. It's just a thing. Yeah, like he's a substitute teacher. It's like, to what? Fucking retards or what? I can't imagine, like, who's he going to teach? Who's he going to fucking teach? And they say no party lives in New York County, correct? The plaintiff does not allege where Kate Meany, and this is the woman who made the phone calls, recorded the phone calls, and I brought that up from the start. Crying about it being a two-party state. Well, where was Kate Meany at? Because that might be a one-party state. And if it is, then where she's at controls. DabbleCon 2 was in Monroe County, New York. Dabble House was in Florida. So now we've got some issues there. His trash is obtained in California. He complained to the police in California. The Shuley Network produces his shows in Alabama. Carl and WATP are in Rochester. And once again, the greater New York City area doesn't work. And then they bring up a bunch of people here who are witnesses with or they're in the Monroe County area. These are these are all people who they're dabblers and dabble people. I don't know who they are. Anyways, the comedy club where they did this at, I assume that's somebody related to Carl. I'm assuming that's somebody related to Carl. Obviously Carl and who are these podcasts? They have a bunch of affidavits that they talk, these parties that were all here. Monroe County is 330 miles from New York City in New York County. It's a less congested court system. The convenience of the witnesses. Well, what witnesses? Nobody's there. Nobody lives in time. Like, no one lives down there. So who cares? Who fucking cares? Stuttering John. No one lives in New York City that you're using. And you guys are all worried about these people. These aren't people you have to worry about. This is you're worrying about things that don't matter here. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. So that's where we get to all of this, and that just shows you how fucking retarded this whole thing is, and what Stuttering John did. Like, this is such fucking hot garbage. Such fucking hot garbage. And I wanted to bring up, where does he say that whole uh, thing here? Did it say in here where he was? Yeah, his opportunities dwindling and he was teaching full time. See, that's the neat part about these when they have him set up this way. I only know Carl when he made fun of Opie. Yeah, well, there's that too. That's how I learned about Carl. Now, they point out that, there's such a problem here. These allegations are so vague. And yeah, he's admitted previously that his comedy career was ending and he was focusing on teaching. And he's not even pursuing entertainment opportunities in New York. So they have things where Stuttering John admits that he cannot get booked and his career is over. He also blames people other than the defendants, Julie and Carl. So he says that he's teaching full time and exploring his opportunities in the entertainment career. Well, once again, is he trying to teach comedy to people, or is he like teaching retarded kids how to read or something? I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, imagine having that guy as your fucking substitute teacher. Holy shit. So, anyways, you can just see here, these are, we're attacking all of this in a proper way. And this is once again an example of very good lawyering. And it helps that Stuttering John leaves such a paper trail of things and won't shut the fuck up and has said so much. Is he teaching kids to be retarded? I could see that too. But this just goes on and on and on here. And, there are some things here where they talk about, they talk about who all these people are that go on these shows, and they bring them all up. And they just point out this entire case, it's not even in the right spot. It's not even in the right spot. This substitute teacher brings in a tape player with a laugh track. Yeah. That'd be awful. That'd be so fucking awful. So that is like I said, I've been very impressed with the attorney that Shuley and Carl hired. But once again, they did the thing. They hired an attorney who's serious. He's all about his business and gets it done. I'm sure they get along with him well. But that's why you don't hire somebody just like you. That's why they don't hire a lawyer who's like balls deep in the Dabbleverse either. You hire somebody who's outside of it who can just be surgical and sterile about their application of the law. They get read things, they understand stuff, but then they just go forward like that. And that's the way you do this. What Stuttering John has done is got some fucking loser who, I don't know, is as dumb as him or what. But this is the example of why you don't do this. The example of why you don't do this. Now, from here, Stuttering John and his attorneys, they want to file a second amended complaint. So notice we're past the first amended complaint. We're on to a second amended complaint, meaning they're going to have to get leave to get this in. And I'm using the red line copy because I don't want to reread this because I don't remember half this shit. And the red lines will show us the additions. So who are they suing in addition? Kate Meany. Okay, well, kind of made sense there. Sounds like Sean wishes he was a part of this. I don't wish I was a part of this. No, like dealing with Stuttering John and this attorney would probably make me want have a fucking stroke. So John's lawyer may be an A-log. I've heard it's like the Vince the lawyer guy or some shit. I don't know shit about him, so I don't know who he is. But it sounds like he's like from behind the shadows or some fucking weird gay things are going on. I really shouldn't even call it gay. Well, actually, I probably would, because if this was in the sector, you could say, yeah, it's some gay sector shit. So whatever he's doing there. Johan says his lawyer's an open micer he met at the haha hole. Well, apparently one of there's like a new lawyer joining Stuttering John's team who has tried stand up before, but I don't think this first guy has. Yeah, he's a troll and has a vendetta against John. Okay, so I'm confused then, because people are like, I've been reading all this shit about this Vince the lawyer guy being behind all of this. So is the idea that this Vince the lawyer guy gassed Stuttering John up to do this? I'm like, that's taking fucking A-logging to a whole new level. But I don't. We're gonna keep moving here. So once again, this is actually common when you file amended complaints. You have to notify and you have to keep it as done here. There was a first amended complaint that was exhausted on. The first complaint was exhausted by the first amended complaint, which we covered. The first amended complaint. And now we're on to the second amended complaint. But you have to include all this. This not exactly like this you would do here in Ohio, but you do something similar. And say I nailed it. Jesus Christ. That's a new level. That's some real A-logging right there, man. Seller says, why do I have the pre-approved filing with strikeouts? Well, they haven't gotten permission to file this yet. But I'm not gonna now I can see all the changes. Here's what they added. Okay, like they do things here. See, Kate Meany's added. The red shows the adding. And this all like for whatever reason, and I will say the way New York does it is weird. You have to file all these like notices, and there's cross motions and cross notices. That's how they do it there. It was just a little weird going through the whole docket that I found online. So, anyways, we're gonna keep going here. So we're going to get through these things going throughout 2025, meaning that they're going to have this as a continuing thing here. And now we get to the issue. This issue is suing under New York civil rights law or under the alternative under Florida statutes and Florida common law. And we've brought this up before. It's kind of like the issue with Monty suing Nick. What laws apply? And that becomes the issue of conflict of laws. How would you try this? Is it the laws where Stuttering John lived? Because if Stuttering John cannot hail Carl and Shuley into Florida, and it's better to try this case and sue them in New York. Well, if we're suing in New York, but we want Florida law to apply, you have to explain why that has to happen. And that does happen from time to time. States will apply the laws from another state. It's not common, but it does happen. It does happen. So, once again, they're talking about the laws of New York and alternatively the laws of Florida. And they talk about there's a coordinated conspiracy. I am surprised they didn't allege fucking civil RICO here, because it sounds like this attorney is dumb enough to have tried that. Remember, chat, in a civil case, RICO is never the answer. And so they talk about the two events. There was DabbleCon 2 that took place in August of 2024, and Dabble House, which took place in April 2025. And they used Stuttering John's identity. They didn't, though. They just used his face on a fucking thing to show, like, look, we've got this big, dumb retard, and we're talking about him. Like, this is what they did. Like, there you go. Yeah, they're totally using him as an endorsement. Totally. Huh. So getting back to this, that was the main thing they did there, along with the couch cushions. And, once again, Stuttering John is just letting his pussy drip here. So they go through this and they say that, and this is something that we covered the last time, where Stuttering John had that video where he's like, oh, I knew they did it. I know they're talking about me. I'm feeding them bullshit to fuck with them. This here is their addition. Any suggestion by defendants that plaintiff consented or knew of the secret recordings is demonstrably false. It appears to be based on a mischaracterization of a post hoc statement made by Stuttering John under duress. Under duress? Who duressed him? An embarrassment after learning of defendant's betrayal. To the extent and you notice this right here is his lawyer never knew about that and is scrambling. It's just scrambling. To the extent the defendants relied on a video or statement suggesting he knew all along and it was all a work about the recording, such statements were only made after plaintiff discovered the scheme and represent defensive, sarcastic, or face-saving comments intended to minimize the humiliation of being deceived and being betrayed by someone he trusted. Okay, sure, or it's you're not fucking credible. Were you lying then or lying now? When were you telling the truth? This is so. You basically are trying to paper over the credibility issues in your complaint. Oh, man. And now in your second amended complaint, you shouldn't get this, but here's the problem. Stuttering John is a lolcow. What does that mean? Lolcows get away with all kinds of shit in court. Their cases don't die when they're supposed to. So just based on that principle alone, this will probably survive. But this right here is Stuttering John trying to paper over that problem. And yes, these after-the-fact statements cannot and do not constitute consent to the original secret recordings or their subsequent commercial exploitation. This is a legal conclusion. How the fuck do you know? Because I argue these are not sarcastic. I'm arguing, that he has no credibility anymore. So this right here is a bunch of bullshit at the end. They say the commercial nature of the exploitation is demonstrated by their systemic use of plaintiff's identity as a marketing tool, featuring his photograph in promotional thumbnails, using his name and show titles like events like DabbleCon. Using his name. Let's go back to this. Do you see Stuttering John anywhere on here? Do you see John Melendez or Stuttering John or Stut Joe or Fuckface or whatever the fuck he calls himself? The Duke? Do you see any of that shit? I don't see any of that. I don't see any of this. I don't see any of that. They didn't use his name. It showed titles at events. Okay, well, they're starting here. DabbleCon, nope. Dabble House, nope. John and Kate plus hate. Well, who's John? A lot of people are John. Now, finally, Stuttering John gets creepy. We finally found the one time they do it. DabbleCon's not about, are you telling me that you own this? Or, your name's not there. Dabble House, your name's not there. John and Kate plus hate. Who's John? I know it's Stuttering John, but it's not clear the way you're doing it. And this is the only time you have it listed. That's not really helpful. They price admission here as voice recordings and collect direct monetary payments. Yes, you've understood how capitalism works, counselor. Thank you. This was not an incidental use in the course of commentary. Well, they did, though. They commented and they A-logged him. They EFAP'd the Stuttering John phone calls, from what I understand, and fucking ragged on him. But deliberate commercial appropriation of his persona as a revenue-generating project. Yeah, no, not really there. They also played tapes that divulged his oldest son's otherwise confidential health-related physical and emotional problems, which caused estrangement between Stuttering John and his son to the present day. Okay, so why'd you fucking talk about him? Once again, now Stuttering John's like, well, I ruined my life. It's like, you have no credibility, sir. You have no credibility. His son might have health-related issues, but at least it says physical and emotional, not cognitive, so he's smarter than his dad. And they say online sales, online super chat, donations. This is while the full extent of any compensation among the conspirators. Ooh, spooky. Remains to be established. The systemic nature of this exploitation demonstrates a calculated commercial enterprise designed to monetize the persona without authorization. Yeah. So they want $350,000 to compensate, not just $300,000, and they want $500,000. Oh wow, chat, we're getting serious now. 850 G's. For their persistent misconduct. Okay. And they say as a resident of Florida, where he's domiciled, guys. That's what domiciliary means. He's domiciled in Florida. Stuttering John's right of publicity claims are governed by Florida law, established under choice of law principles, applied by New York courts, which look to the law of the plaintiff's domicile for personal rights such as publicity. I mean, maybe. This complaint, therefore, pleads violations under both New York law to the extent applicable and Florida law as the governing law for a Florida resident's publicity rights. Oh, wow. It's like, why didn't we fucking do this at the start? And notice, they're not adding in little things or fixing stuff. They're literally making choice of law and conflict of laws arguments now. This is a massive alteration. You're adding in all kinds of stuff that was never there before. Takedown DDT says, then why file in New York? Because I think Dabble House was in Florida, the event. But it's easier to go after Carl and all of this because it happened in Rochester, ultimately, the big stuff. That makes the most sense. But you can have a conflict of laws. A New York court can apply Florida law on a topic. That's not out of the question. But this idea, though, that you're adding all this shit in now on basically you have your complaint, you have your First Amendment complaint, your Second Amendment complaint. You're on number 3. You're on number 3. Or if you're German, 3. Because you don't want to get caught by the Gestapo, chat. Remember, in Germany, this is 3. This is the 3rd time through. And they say, John is an individual residing in Florida, but he does spend significant time in New York City and New York State. Both for business reasons and because his family lives in New York State. Okay, well, still, how is that going to work? And they say, he was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and various shows using his distinct voice and manner of speaking, including a show on a sci-fi network for 3 seasons. What? Were there like a show about retarded aliens or stuttering aliens? What is the problem here? What is the problem here? I can't imagine sci-fi hiring from any show. I mean, did they hire him for stuff after they quit using Brian Bosworth in all their movies? So, anyways, just all this garbage here that he is, yeah. So they add the defendants, Agar and Kate. So Shuli and Kate did online shows and all kinds of stuff. And they say, here we go. They say, upon information and belief, saying, we don't fucking know, but we're going to say it anyway. The Shuli Network, TSN, and Who Are These Podcasts operate as a business entity, doing business as a partnership or an incorporated association under the control of Mr. Egger and or Mr. Heberger. But you've got this crunched together like that. You've got this crunched together in a way. I doubt Shuli and Carl are, together forever. Shuli might have something with TSN and Carl's got WATP. Why are you trying to jam this together in one thing? I don't understand here. Yeah. This is a huge fucking stretch. This is so much they're jamming in here. So they say they conduct business through established business operations, including monetized content creation, promotion, merch sales, and payment processing systems. I mean, if it's through YouTube, if they have Patreon, you're probably using Stripe and all that. They say if either of them lack proper corporate form, the individual defendants are liable for the obligations of these business operations under theories of alter ego, piercing the corporate veil, or personal responsibility for business activities under these names. Yes! Yes, counsel! Yes, you fucking caught up to us. Big city, swinging dick, New York City lawyer. I'm sure it's, I'm sure his mom goes, my son, Talbot Benedict's a lawyer. Motherfucker, fucking rube-ass lawyer in shit kick Ohio figured this out. I mean, really, anybody can figure this out. Yes, you're going to sue them as individuals who run these organizations. Yeah, no shit. No shit. So once again, upon information belief, meaning we don't really fucking know, but we're guessing. And they point out here that, this just goes on and on for a bit here. So they go here more. And they add Kate now. So here's the thing. Kate Meany is an individual residing in New York County, New York, meaning Manhattan, which is the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Kate's an aspiring comedian who conspired with Shuli and Carl to breach Stuttering John's rights to publicity by secretly recording and sharing the private conversations. They say upon information and belief, Kate may have received or been offered compensation for her participation, though such arrangements remain subject to confirmation through discovery, meaning you have no fucking idea, and that's why they say this. They're literally speculating at this point. That's all they're doing here. Cool Channel says, what's the claim? Basically that they've appropriated his likeness and persona. They've invaded his privacy, his right to publicity, all kinds of shit like that. And it doesn't matter because it's all garbage. They say, regardless of compensation. Notice, though, they say regardless of compensation. Then why did you include it if you're going to say regardless? Regardless of all the shit I just said above, well, then why bother saying the shit above? You don't need to include it then. That means it's surplus, in my opinion. Just point out that her participation was essential to the scheme as she provided the unauthorized recordings. Did they go through another party or how did they get there? I don't know. But why would you include that? If you're, regardless of compensation, just focus on this. And they say any claims relate back to the original complaint filing, and it's all allegations arrived from the same transaction occurrences as those alleged against the original defendants. If I was Kate, I would say, yeah, you listed me and you knew who I was, and you decided not to list me as a defendant. This is not new information. It's not a new party that was unknown to Stuttering John. I would oppose this on many different levels, and I hope she does. Kate acted in unity of interest with the existing defendants, and Kate received actual and constructive notice of this action within the limitations period through plaintiff's cease and desist letters and law enforcement reports filed in June of 2024. Okay, but why didn't you fucking do this earlier? Plaintiff acknowledges he's previously amended his complaint once as of right. Remember, chat, you get one free time to amend it as long as you do it right at the beginning. They say because this complaint constitutes a second amendment, it is not allowable as of right and therefore is filed pursuant to leave that is being sought. I hope he doesn't fucking get it. So they're asking that this be filed with the court's permission or stipulation by all defendants. Well, the defendants won't stipulate, so he's going to need court permission. And basically, they're adding in all of this, that they added in this big conspiracy. It's now a conspiracy through the coordinated timing and shared objectives. And they point out jurisdiction and venue. They point out alternatively under Florida law and Florida common law here. You know, they want $850,000 in damages. And they say Kate is a resident of New York County. We already know that. We learned that. This is just, you know, who are they wanting to do here? The plaintiff has accordingly chosen New York County because Kate Meany lives in New York County. Okay, just one. Many witnesses named by defense counsel, yet to be announced by plaintiff and yet to be uncovered via discovery, live in and around New York City. And all those names like Trucker Andy, I think those people are like names from like Opie and Anthony days too. Yeah, and they have to fly to New York City to get to Rochester, being the less convenient location for many of them. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that because Carl says a bunch of my guys live in Rochester. And they say Kate's role as a central witness combined with the residents makes this venue the most convenient. It does not. It does not. And regardless of whether she's ultimately joined as a defendant or called as a key witness, well, you've already got her in this case as a defendant. And honestly, I think that's a fair argument that Carl and Shirley should make. She should be joined. But the problem is you fucking took too long. Although they might be stuck with the argument of you didn't raise this earlier, so therefore you waive that objection. I don't know. I don't know how that would work under New York law. I could see Carl's attorney saying you guys waived this by not raising it earlier. So, but anyways, we get to all this, and it just keeps going and going and going here. They say that he never consented to the recordings. In no time did he authorize Kate and Meany to record these. And yes, he filed multiple police reports and cease and desist. Yeah, went to the police. So, that's the funny part about this. That's the funny part about this. They keep on going. They're talking about once again what Kate did. Um, they go through all of this. They go through once again. This is just it's all a fucking joke. This is having to once you add in a third party like the third party defendant, yeah, got to do all this here. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on like this. So this is just it's all fucking retarded from these attorneys. This is just so stupid. I just don't understand this. I don't understand this. The second amended complaint, they wasted the first one because the attorney misspelled his own name. Yeah, but that's an easy thing to amend. That's like a chicken shit amendment. That's not a problem. It's all hearsay. Well, and remember, a complaint is entirely hearsay. By definition, it's all out of court statements being used to prove the truth of the matter asserted. So it's all hearsay. That's not the problem. Because really everything in a complaint is hearsay. For the most part, when you're alleging like somebody said something or did something, a lot like it's all unproven at that point. What are you guys talking about here? What? So they get to they go on here and this is where I'll say I appreciate Carl and Shuley doing this. Their willfulness to defy things is demonstrated by their documented statement that he and Carl would play the tapes whether John liked it or not. And good, fuck him. Don't fucking don't let somebody like John step to you like that. Don't let John step to you like that. Now, they talk about all this, the once again their conspiracy. Ooh, spooky. They go through all this here. They're now claiming, and notice they're having to fill all the holes that Carl and Shuley's attorney found. It doesn't qualify for protection under the newsworthiness exception, and alternatively, under Florida's publicity rights laws as well. And they illegally obtained his private communications. They didn't illegally obtain them. You still haven't established where Kate was that makes this illegal. Even then, that's not something you can do. Is it non-newsworthy? I don't know. Is it really not newsworthy? I would disagree. And they point out this was not genuine commentary, news reporting, or protected expression. It was, and it is. It's a calculated commercial scheme to monetize the private communications and personal humiliation. Definitely that, but that's allowed. That's 100% allowed. That is 100% allowed. So we're all done with that, guys. We are all done with that part here. This is where the fucking retardation really comes out for Stuttering John. And this is because he has a couple of affidavits, and we're going to get to these. There's a couple of different affidavits put out there by Stuttering John, and none of them are good. None of them are good. None of them are impressive. And this is where things start getting funny. And there's other comments, and guys, we'll get to those in a minute. We'll also get to the letter his attorney wrote, which is like the cuckiest thing ever. So this is the affidavit for Stuttering John. They notice state of Texas, county of Harris, meaning Houston. Was he at a gig? Although we need to get to this part here really quick. Electronically signed and notarized using approved platform. Wow, I guess some attorneys could figure out how to do electronic notary. I guess some attorneys could properly do electronic notarization in Texas. Uh-oh. So this is John Melendez being sworn and states follows. He says, and this is everything says, I'm 18 years of age. I'm competent to make this affidavit. I have personal knowledge. And he says, I'm a plaintiff in the second in the above caption action. I submit this in support of the motion for leave to file a second amended complaint. He says, I have personal knowledge. And he says, I reviewed the proposed complaint drafted by my attorneys. It describes the involvement of Kate Meany. And it says, to the best of my knowledge, the allegations are true. And he says, I confirm in 2024 with Kate, whom I considered a friend at that time. Okay, secretly recorded multiple things without my consent. I was in California when these calls occurred. This is really like when you're in an affidavit, this must be a New York thing. But like this is multiple, like it accurately describes my thing. Bam, enter. Number 4. In particular, I confirm that these were recorded without my knowledge. Bam. 5. I was in California when these calls occurred. Bam. 6. While I suspected early on Kate may have been involved, I have only recently become aware through discussions with potential witnesses that there may have been compensation involved. It doesn't fucking matter if there's compensation involved or not. She fucked with you anyway. And he says, this is multiple things. Like, this is just fucking garbage. This is garbage, man. No, notice, Stuttering John didn't write this. His attorney writes this. And this is how you do affidavits. You don't have your client write the affidavit. You say, look, I need information from you. Read this. Is this correct? And they say yes or no, and then you fix it. But you don't let them write the affidavit. So he says, I later learned that Kate had been cooperating with them. Yes, because, like, okay. She provided my audio calls to them. And you could say, I didn't consent to this. You should have, if you're this worried, you should have included, I did not consent to this. I'm going to laugh if there's a fucking amended affidavit coming out, getting filed, but you should have put that there. The defense then used recordings to exploit my name and voice, specifically DabbleCon, Dabble House, and various online broadcasts. He says, I was shocked and devastated. It's the most fucking PR you've probably got in years, buddy. To discover the private acquaintance had surreptitiously recorded me and handed over the tapes for public use. That's what you're saying now. He says, initially, I did not name her as a defendant when I filed this lawsuit. Okay. Which means you had knowledge she was available and you had her identity. However, I've come to believe that adding her is both necessary and fair. How did you not know it was fucking necessary from the start? Or fair? From my perspective, her actions were a critical component of the harm I suffered. You knew this already. But for Meany's secret recordings, the other defendants wouldn't have had my voice recordings of broadcast. She set the events in motion. I feel she should be held accountable alongside the other defendants. Then why didn't you do this earlier? Were you trying to get a crumb of pussy or something? Is like, I don't chat. You might know the answer to this. Is that his thing? Like he's trying to crawl up her cooter? Because why would you not do this earlier? And given how he talked to her, because I've listened to the call since then, I'm sure he did basically say, like, you play in my wiener, I'll let you go. I bet it's something like that. So the inclusion will also allow the court to hear my complete story. I don't think anybody wants to hear your fucking story. Oh, he is totally in love with Kate? Okay. So he's trying to get a whiff of her cooter on this. Okay. Hey, things men will do when they think they got a whiff of puss. He simped for her for years. Okay. I mean, to be fair, guys, out there in chat, you all know we're all like that. Men will do all kinds of things just to get if they think they got a chance of getting sniffing some puss. Say, I want the court to understand how deeply I felt betrayed by Mrs. Meany's conduct. Why? This is not fucking testimony. This is not testimony right now. Why are you including this? I want the court to understand. It's not about them understanding shit. This is fucking testimony now. This is testimony. I trusted Mrs. Meany as a friend. This objection, this is fucking not relevant. This is not relevant here. Why the fuck is this in here? I confided in her over the phone, never imagining she was recording me at the behest of people who wanted to mock and monetize my life. Once again, why is all this shit in here? Why is all this shit in here? Once again, why did you hire a fucking attorney who's doing all this retarded stuff? Oh, and this is the interesting thing here. Okay. Captain Mojo saying she snaked him 5 times and he keeps coming back. Okay. And Bob says Kate has set him up many times pretending he was interested just to record John being stupid. There you go, John. Now you're fucked again, because that's going to come out. LegalZoom wrote this. No, there's no way in fuck they did. I know you guys are joking. His attorney wrote this. That's why this attorney's fucking stupid. Jess says there's 2 series of Kate tapes. Okay. He found out the first time and went back months later and she recorded a whole new series of tapes. Wow. He fell for the phone bit twice. Wow. Okay, well, yeah. So. Takedown says it's assumed she was recording on orders from Carl and Shuley, zero proof. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if they said, hey, go do this. It literally does not matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if, like, literally, that doesn't fucking matter. That doesn't fucking matter at all if they worked on this. I'm trying not to read chat sci-fi autism. You're goddamn right I'm not. I see it on screen. But it doesn't matter that they could have a whole fucking conspiracy. We're going to fucking make him look like a retard. Like these troons on Discord. They could have it like all listed out. Doesn't fucking matter. They're allowed to say, like, they're allowed to hatch a plan to A-log the fuck out of somebody. It'd be like PPP and Worski. I guarantee you they sit there talking about, oh my God, Phil's a fucking retard. Like, yeah, they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to cooperate and coordinate. This is so fucking stupid. Finding out about this betrayal caused me significant emotional distress. Once again, why are we testifying in an affidavit like this? For just getting leave to amend the complaint. This is not like they should be Carl and Shuley have a great attorney, but I'd be filing a motion to strike this shit. Motion to strike this shit is all fucking retarded. I will fucking ban you for this. We are not talking about Harry Potter. John's forehead has a slope. I don't know exactly how New York works, but I think I'd be filing a motion to strike. This is not a responsive thing. The court would probably say, I'm going to ignore the parts that matter, but I would still file it. Just like, this is fucking garbage. By adding Miss Meany to this case, I can fully seek justice from all individuals who played a role. Why didn't you do it earlier? Once again, I'm sure he said, like, hey, baby, come fuck and, like, let's fuck around and I'll, come hang out with me and I'll think about it. Which I bet if he did, holy shit, is he going to look really bad. And it sounds like that could easily happen. He says, I believe Annie Kate will not delay or derail the case in any meaningful way. Don't worry, you and your attorney are derailing the shit out of everything. The facts here involving her are already part of the case. The existing defense themselves have discussed her involvement, even on the podcast. Once again, we're fucking testimony. Testimony again. In fact, they often blamed or reference Kate when talking about the tapes. Therefore, I do not see any unfair disadvantage to bring to them in bringing her in. No, we're going to get to that at the end. We're going to get to that end. Am I aware that John's lawyer, the Tabard Benedict guy, or are you talking about the Vince dude, was disbarred for a time for a DUI hit and run? I had heard, if I understand it right, the Vince guy got in a lot of trouble, but are you talking about the guy he's actually using as an attorney? Because I do not know. So this guy, Tabard Benedict, has the record. Oh, Vince? Okay. Wait, so both these guys have, like, DUI hit and runs? They're both fucking, like, I mean, to be fair, I got a DUI too back when I was in college, but like Vince has his own allegations. Okay, Tabor Benedict has his own. I mean, that's like I got a DUI when I was in college. That's not that big a deal. What kind of name is Tabor? I don't know, man. Like, trust me, people name their kids all kinds of shit. He went to jail and told his friends he was going on a year-long European vacation. I get lying to like your kids or something, but lying to your friends like that's a little retarded. So, but no, thank you, Doug. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, Medicare has a DUI. I have a DUI. You ain't cool unless you're acting like a belligerent Irishman. Yeah. Well, that's what I heard. I heard one of these guys went to jail for like a couple of years. So, different issues. Vince is a sex pest. Okay. Okay. So sorry, Vince. I misunderstood. I thought you were the guy with the DUI. Apparently you're not. Apparently you're not cool like me and other people. There's DUI and there's DUI. We talking about how did the car get on the power lines? No. Not for me. No, they caught me because my tail light was like fucking flashing. Like, because it's like the bulb was kind of going in and out. So, yeah. DUI taking Clyde to tap dance. Yeah. Yeah. How long did I put the county out of power? He says, I even filed a report in Los Angeles naming her. How does she, who the fuck cares if you named a police report? You made an accusation. So this move should surprise no one. I mean, it does. Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. You guys are fucking stupid, but I am surprised you're taking till the third time around to do this. And he says, from my point of view, it doesn't fucking matter your point of view. Is it supported by the fucking law? Like, I'm not worried about Chief Justice Melendez. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that one. Like, I don't give a shit what you have to say. By not adding Meanie would leave a significant gap in this case. She did something that gravely violated my privacy and trust. Then why didn't you do it right away? And that directly facilitated the exploitation of my identity. I asked the court to permit this amendment so I can pursue my claims. Rather than a separate action, well, I don't know if you'd be able to do this as a separate action. You know, like, you kind of fucked up, man. You kind of fucked this up by not naming her right away. The funny thing is he never even hooked up with her. Well, I mean, what does Kate Meany look like? I don't even know what this woman looks like. Okay, hold on. Okay, is this... Okay. So if I understand it right, chat. Okay, if one of these women is Kate, there's no fucking way either of them are ever gonna... Holy shit, Stuttering John thought he was gonna get, like, the chick in black hair. Like, this is Kate, right? He thought he was gonna be able to fucking hook up with that? Really? Really? Is this Kate? Is that Kate? The other one still? Still ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way, Stuttering John. Ain't no fucking way you're landing this woman. I've seen you. I've listened to you. There ain't no fucking way that's happening. She got a strong jawline or whatever. No, like, still. Like, even Helen Keller, like, not hooking up with John. So, the fuck? Jesus. I figured she was some, like, woman in her 50s that was all, like, written hard and put away wet or some shit. But no, God. What fucking retardation John and his attorney did. What fucking retardation. She's the daughter of Kevin Meany, by the way. Oh, okay. I've heard that name. I didn't even think about that. Like, seriously, though. What the fuck? How did he think he even had a chance with her? Wow. 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 Anyway, moving on to this, I've discussed with my attorney the issues of adding Kate Meany, such as the timing, which is a huge problem. This is a huge problem right now, the timing. This was a huge problem. This is a massive problem. Like, this is it's fucking amateur hour, you guys. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Yes. The German rocketry solution to things. Just keep going. Eventually, you'll level all of London. It's my understanding that some of the misconduct happened mid-2024, over a year ago. Yeah, because your phone calls showed up there. Like, you already knew this. But it also happened in 2025, within a year. My intent is not to skirt any rules. Oh, well, it definitely fucking is. But to make sure everybody responsible is called to account. Then why didn't you do this earlier? Their conduct was continuous. I believe all of it should be addressed. If necessary, I trust the court will handle any timing or technical issues. What the fuck? This is so fucking gay. But I want to state clearly, this is so gay. I did it as soon as it was necessary. I'm prepared to proceed against her. He says, in conclusion, I affirm that I strongly feel submitting this affidavit adds value to my motion. Yeah, okay. Oh my God. So once again, with the telephone notary. So it's a little weird, though, because the next day getting filed is another affidavit from Stuttering John. And I don't know his like fucking, I know people there track him like he's I know in the Dabbleverse they track Stuttering John like he's a fucking wolf in Yellowstone, but a gay and retarded wolf. I'm not trying to say John's like a wolf, like he's a stunning lone individual. But now the next day we're filing one from fucking Florida. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, this first one was sworn on September 9th, and then this one is from Florida, and this one was done 3 days later. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? I don't get it. I don't get, like, why are we fucking hopping around just firing depositions off? And see, this is another one. He says, I'm over 18 years of age, blah, 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 blah. And he says, I'm filing this and, support the motion here. He says, I reviewed the cross motion drafted by my attorneys. And once again, he's like, I began to learn about all these people together. I was horrified to discover, once again, Kate Meany had been convinced to record our private conversations. Okay. He says, I was in California during these calls. Where was she? Was she in New York? I don't know. Gay Wolf sounds like a failed Metal Gear villain, yes. Liquidate! This is just so fucking stupid. Then upon learning this, I had my counsel call Shuli and Carl in June, demanding they stop. I also filed reports with the FBI. The FBI! Like, well, I'm not a fan of the state security apparatus. I mean, like, if they're gonna flashbang somebody's house, like, why can't it be fucking Stuttering John's? What a like. I don't think, like, I want to see this report you made to the FBI. Calling the FBI field office. Listen, special agent. I know you're worried about like terrorism and all kinds of shit, but listen, I have some things that went down on the internet. Hello, are you there? Like, really? Yes. What the fuck? I want to see this FBI report. Yeah, and the LAPD, which I'm sure they were like the cop standing there taking the reports. Like, if I was black, I would start beating the fuck out of you. But he's like, I can't. You're white. So, despite these clear warnings, the defendants refuse to stop. And he says, moreover, I have text messages. I proved that I was unaware of being taped and recorded. Okay, but they conflict. They conflict with your statement that you recorded. Okay, and holy shit, chat, I'm just now seeing this thing that you were bringing up. These messages are between Mrs. Mean and me after the second time I was unknowingly recorded. Wow. Wow. Whoa, buddy. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Wow. And from what in the way you guys are explaining to me, he had got burned once and then talked to her again. Fucking A. I don't think there's many two stuttering bros. Yes, if you tell the FBI it's about a white man on Discord, they'll get interested. Yes. Tell them the Proud Boys are involved. But once again, Chad, I will say the Proud Boys are done nothing wrong. They are just proud Western chauvinists who refuse to apologize for creating the modern world. He says, I have text messages that show that Meanie admits to giving the tapes based on pressure from Shuley that threatened Kate with public disclosure of the romantic relationship we had. I can't wait for this to go to fucking Discovery and they can explain what kind of relationship did you have with Stuttering John? You know, like, what kind of relationship do you have with Kate? And Stuttering John's gonna be like, oh, it was all kind of romantic. And Kate's gonna be like, ew, no, he's a faggot. So. No. He called her the second time. She didn't call him. Okay, well, so he got burned and then he contacted her. You know, on Twitter, we would call you a gorilla Negro for doing this, Stuttering John. On the farms, you'd be known as a gorilla Negro. He gives me the icks. Oh, I'm sure a lot. Yeah, it sounds like he's trying to suggest they fucked. Or they were very, yeah. Yeah. Katamoja says they flubbed their response. They didn't flub their response. The response was very well done, professionally done. This is Stuttering John patching up all the bullet holes in his boat right now. And Shuley and Carl just sat there with fucking. It looks like it was like fucking Schindler's List with just MP40s. I probably shouldn't. Shuley's Jewish. I probably shouldn't say that. But it's like that goat. It's like that boat full of trendy Aragua guys just getting fucking annihilated. Yeah. So John claimed they hooked up on his show. Ooh, interesting. So, I expected them to for content purposes. No, I think that they already no, because I did hear Carl saying their goal is to fucking crush Stuttering John in this case, and they should, because he can't keep doing this to people, and if he can get away with doing it to them, he'll pick on smaller people. And Carl and Shuley are like some of the bigger people in the Dabbleverse, and there's a lot of smaller people in the Dabbleverse, really small people that Stuttering John would try to fuck with, and yeah, I understand why they want to crush him. Make it your lock of the week. What? That Stuttering John's going to have to explain this sexual relationship? Yeah. Carl and Shuley are saints. Oh, I understand they're not saints. I'm not saying they are, but I agree with them that they want to fucking crush Stuttering John in this case because Stuttering John is using paper terrorism at this point, and he should be crushed for it. And if they're the vehicle for doing it, then fine. Yeah, I understand. It's a Dabbleverse. It's a Dabbleverse. It's not the fucking College of Cardinals. There's also big people in the Dabbleverse like me. I am not in the Dabbleverse. So, update, please. We're going through it. I don't know what you're updating here. So instead they made my stolen voice. It's like the fucking Amish or the Indians. Like, you take a picture, you steal his soul. And that's what the Indians thought initially when like recordings like the Victrolas and the sound recordings came out. You're stealing our voice. You're stealing our soul. Yes, Brave Chief Stuttering John. As a centerpiece for a for-profit event they called DabbleCon 2, they used my name and image to promote the event. They didn't use your, in their online shows, played snippets of the recordings. They went so far as to have someone steal discarded cushions from my property. You're now making a materially false statement. That is, I know the Dabble friends would like to say, Aaron's committing perjury. This is actual perjury. This is actual 100% perjury. That's actual perjury right there. That is actual perjury. So, you can't steal garbage. And it wasn't on your property. It was on the curtilage, or it was on the curb. So, yeah. Now this part was, yes, for a prop for mockery. That's correct. But this is perjury right here. That's perjury. They didn't steal it. Did did they have the right to? Or are you going to claim they don't? They say after that event, they continued to pressure Kate to illegally record more of my conversations. They then use these new recordings to produce and promote another pay-per-view event, which once again, whether or not you did this or not, you contacted her or not, you're now admitting it happened again and you fucking went along with it again. Like, what the fuck, bro? Through the entire ordeal, I've never consented to any of this. Oh boy, Destiny's gonna love you. You don't consent. Destiny don't care. This ain't about consent. My private life has turned into a commodity for defendants to sell for their own profit. Well, all cows are milked. They caused me emotional distress and harm my reputation. He's like, they've now filed a motion to dismiss, claiming their actions are a matter of public interest. I strongly disagree. I don't fucking care if you disagree. They're running a commercial enterprise built on stealing and selling my identity. Okay. Like, they're not, though. They're not stealing your identity. But it says, however, to properly oppose their motion and demonstrate my claims have a basis. Notice this is a problem. This part here is a problem, chat. I already can see where he's going with this. To properly oppose the motion and dismiss and demonstrate my claims have a basis in law, I need information that only the defendants possess, meaning I need to go fishing. Your complaint should be able to survive without it. That gets you into discovery. He needs discovery to survive his complaint. You're already toast, man. You're toast. And he says, I can't fully respond to a motion to dismiss without discovery. A list of all websites, platforms, and outlets where the recordings were disseminated. Why do you need that? What does it do? The manner in which the recordings were disseminated. That doesn't help. How does that help you? How does that help you fight the motion to dismiss? How does that help you fight this motion to dismiss, John? I don't know. You don't have an answer either, because you guys are fucked. Did I file a lawsuit against Stuttering John? No. No, I need a fucking bullet before I did that. I'd be worried about his fucking retardation leeching off and affecting me. Hold on one second. Buddy, oh my god, hold on here, chat. Hold on. We need to do this, chat. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh my god, if this is true, hold on here. I know some of you guys might not care. This is going to get political here in a second. Oh, yeah, buddy. Fucking suffocommies. Antifa will now be labeled as a terrorist organization by the White House. Drone striking commies is on the menu, chat. Suffocommies. Suffa. Now back to our program and starting John being a fucking tard. But that's good. We'll cover that. We might do that later, chat. We might do that later. Oh, buddy. I fucking love that. I fucking love that. Yes. Yes. So anyways, guys, we're moving on here. This is all revenue derived from these activities. How does that help your motion? You don't need that to contest the motion and dismiss. If they made like $1 or $1 million, they still profited off you. Remember, that's your argument. You know what he wants? He wants all this information so that he can go fuck with people. He says the number of subscribers. Why? You already know who they were. He wants ticket buyers. He wants to try to fucking dox people and information. He's probably too retarded to do it, but that's what they're going to do. Data showing where the customers are located. Why do you need to know the information of all these people? Why do you need to know it? You know, any and all communications at this point, you're getting into like the actual general discovery here. You don't need any of this shit. This information is approved. The primary purpose is not commentary, but private financial gain. It's essential for the opposition. No, it's not. And they shouldn't get this. I hope to fucking God they don't get this. This would be a miscarriage of justice for them to get it. But once again, why are we signing fucking affidavits all over the country? You're not fucking Elon Musk or something. So I don't. And here's the thing, and I realize there's another affidavit that Stuttering John does, and there's another one from him. Like these, and I'm just going by the dates they're filed, but these are all within a day or two of each other. So maybe the dabblers can fill me in on this, but like it's another one from Texas on September 11th. It's like, you know, like Mr. Melendez, the second cushion has been stolen. It's like, what the fuck? Or Mr. Melendez, the second phone calls have been leaked. It's like, what the fuck is this? What the? Yes, his lawyers are retarded. I get that, but what? Once again, an electronically notarized. Somebody figured it out. So he says, I'm over 18 years of age. Once again, boilerplate, boilerplate, boilerplate. I've reviewed the opposition by my attorneys, I'm sure. Because you're like, yes, I agree with your legal strategy, counsel. This is where we get to it. I have never consented to my phone calls being recorded by Kate. When I spoke with her on the phone, I believed her conversation was private. Once again, we're now testifying again. The defendants claim that I knew or consented this. I had no idea this was going on. I was aware the defendants are online broadcasters who talk about me, but that doesn't mean I ever wanted to help them. This is more testimony. I never intended for her to give anything to the defendants. I was not feeding her false stories. Everything I said to Kate was because I was speaking to a trusted friend in confidence, not because I was trying to supply information. The notion I somehow orchestrated this is just wrong. Once again, this is, the notary stamp has a family. Seriously, though, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this, man? He says, I never authorized anybody to use my voice, name, image, or likeness for any commercial purpose. I didn't get permission for my voice or image to be used at the events. I was not involved in those events at all. I've carefully cultivated my persona over the years. What, as a drunk fucking retard? Like I said, I'm not in the Dabbleverse, but we saw your pile of Michelob Ultra cans, which once again, I applaud you for like, being fucking, all pinky out with your beer choice there, buddy. Bud Light. I'm a Budweiser man myself if it comes to it, or Busch Light. But yeah, he goes on. I've heard him on YouTube, drunk as shit. This is fucking garbage. He says, at all relevant times, I retain full control. My name and likes are valuable to me. What value? Because, I mean, it does have a value. Like, how much are we talking about? And do you have to qualify it in Argentine pesos? At all relevant times, I retain full control of my persona. I never gave anyone, neither Kate nor the defendants, any license to exploit my identity in any way. If they have used my names, though, they have done so without my consent against my wishes. Okay. As soon as I learned about the recordings, I objected immediately and forcefully. While going, please stop, is not being very forceful. I directed my attorney to call them and demanded they stop. I took this a step right away to put a stop to the unauthorized use. Okay. The attorney phone call also addressed some disturbing threats Carl and Julie made towards me. Specifically, I became aware that they had threatened to release publicly embarrassing recordings of my conversations unless I comply with the demands. One of their demands was that I publicly admitted to crimes that I did not commit. I was shocked. Shocked, I say, when I learned of these threats. I felt like I was being blackmailed. And the letters my lawyer sent me made it clear we did not consent to any of this. He says, I also then went to the FBI. I filed reports at the FBI. Found Agent Johnson and Agent Johnson. No, the other one. And the LAPD, which once again, like, he should have gotten there and dog attack him or something. I did this shortly after discovering what Kate had done, and then you let it happen again. These actions on my part show that I was never part of and was actively against what they were doing. Despite my clear efforts to stop them, they did it anyway. Even after receiving the phone call and knowing I was objecting, which I also did on my YouTube show at different times, they went ahead and did this. And he says, I want to address, and this is, once again, this is now testimony. Like, strike all this shit. Strike all this shit. Strike it. This needs to be striked. This needs to be stricken. This is. I want to address. This is not the time for you to make statements, sir. This is an affidavit about emotion. Which, once again, like I said, this makes New York fucking goofy as shit to add all this here, but this is not fucking necessary. I want to address remarks I made after learning the situation. This is like you giving a press conference after you got caught fucking the babysitter or something there, Stuttering John. What are the chances it gets cost this week? He's a lol cow, meaning it won't. If it does, I hope it does. But remember, lol cows have the ability to make lawsuits survive for a while. I still think it's probably going to survive. It shouldn't, but it probably will because he's a lol cow. That's just the thing that happens. After learning about the situation, which the defendants have twisted to suit their narrative, in late 2024, after I found out about the secret recordings and saw my conversations being aired, I was reeling with shock and embarrassment. Around December 2024, during one of my own live video broadcasts, I made some sarcastic comments about the situation. I said, where's the effect of, I always knew Miss Meany was recording me, and I deliberately given her false information to pass along. I need to make it absolutely clear those comments were not meant literally. Do we need to go back to, like, what the fuck they did? Because he did a lot. Stuttering John did a lot, man. And one of the things he did was an entire, like, he showed us the date and time of what he was doing. This is not, let's see if I can bring this up here because this is kind of important here. Hold on, where are the exhibits? Yeah. This is Stuttering John's video where he says all of this here.
Today is December 16th. Here is my calendar. That's the date, December 16th. Now I turn this around.
You're fucking tapping the phone.
All right, that's the date. All right, why am I doing this? Because I've been talking to Kate Meany. I know she's taping me. We've known since the beginning. I'm trying to feed as much nonsense as possible and will continue to do it until she hands it over to Lady K or the shit layer or one of these fucking losers. But
so, I mean, it's a lot more than just you saying it. You show proof. You're documenting the time you're doing all this. And Takedown, thank you for providing me some lore here. In the recorded calls the second time around, he told Kate he knew she was recording him. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Wow. I mean, like I said, the Dalverse, you want to talk about perjury? That's some perjury right there, kids. Let me tell you what. Oh, buddy. Whoa, buddy. So, and he says, when I made those sarcastic remarks, I was speaking out of anger, humiliation, and a sense of duress. Not because they were true. I was trying to save face and cope. Oh, I bet you were coping. I bet you were fucking coping. I bet you were coping like a motherfucker. And with the fact that I had been deceived and made a public target, I was under extreme pressure, facing the ridicule of having my private moments exposed. I reacted by lashing out with sarcasm. That didn't really seem like sarcasm. The reality is this: I did not know Kate was recording me during our calls. I did not intend to have anything to be shared. My frustrating comments after the fact should not be misinterpreted as any kind of retroactive consent or approval. They are a product of my shock and not a factual admission. In truth, I never want any of this to happen. I've always been against it. This is, once again, this is for your deposition, man. This is motion to strike. Motion to strike this whole fucking thing. So, in sum, I never consented or authorized this. I've consistently opposed the exploitation of myself. From the moment I discovered what was going on, I've done everything in my power to stop it. I offer the sworn testimony to set the record straight. I did not consent. I did not authorize. And I've never wavered in objecting to the defendant's use of my identity. I don't think this is necessary. And, I know there's some of the dabblers have like a New York lawyer and paralegal people commenting on it. This doesn't, you don't need him to do this. This is just fucking unnecessary. And now, well, Stuttering John, this is your statement. It's a sworn affidavit. If this survives, you're now locked into all of this, and they're going to fucking hammer you with it, and your credibility is going to go through the toilet. So, yes. Yes, is he coping? Coping and sneeding. Yes, John, you're going to learn about what sneeding is shortly. So, I just don't know. I don't know what you do here. I don't know what you do here. So from there were more affidavits that got filed. And there were more affidavits that got filed. And what are they doing? They're rebutting affidavits that were filed by Shuley and Carl. These are more affidavits. And they're saying an affidavit of Roy, his brother. Which I love how they this is pulled off the website from the court website. If you're gonna redact the guy's name, why would you say his name's Roy and then brother? I'm assuming his name is Roy Melendez. So why are we redacting names? This is once again, this is why? What why would you do this? I don't get it. I don't get why would you do that. So, and this is all boilerplate here. I'm an adult. I know Stuttering John, blah, 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 blah. It says no consent was given. And we're going to get to, there's a bunch of these, chat. We're going to go through these real quick. At no point did he authorize Amini or anyone to record their private phone calls or share calls with the defendants. I was in frequent contact with Stuttering John during this period, and he consistently treated their conversations confidential. Meaning he never sought his permission to tape calls and never gave permission for that. Any claim he knew, consented, and attended to those calls is incorrect. In fact, when Stuttering John began to suspect the calls were secretly recorded, he was alarmed and felt betrayed. Okay, well, I mean, wow. I mean, we can then move on to another one. There's another thing from JM, and I don't know who JM is, but he is somebody in Nevada. And I'm a lot. Notice how this all starts out. Wow. Huh. That's kind of funny. We'll go to this one here of a guy named Daniel. Huh. So these people all said the same statement. Yes, quite. Then we move on to this one. David of AASE, mother. I mean, these look exactly the fucking same. These all look exactly the same. So these people all said the same thing. They're all literally saying word for word the exact same thing. I mean, it looks like it. It looks like it. It looks like it, chat. And that's how you know this shit was scanned in somewhere because it's not all lined up. I don't know who AASE is, Ace or Aussie or whatever. But anyways, oh, look, it's the same fucking thing. Once again, like, they're all the same fucking thing. Like, what the fuck? How is this? Like, this is just, like, you're getting... They're fucking with... Like, Stuttering John's attorney are just fucking with us at this point. Literally, they're just like, you know, how bad can I fuck with you guys? And oh, by the way, the Daniel one gets even better because it's going here. This is the Daniel one. Look what they had to do after a while. Like, this is so fucking Bush League. Like, somebody had to take a picture of their fucking affidavit with a camera. They couldn't just fax it over. Like, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. That kind of sums up this case for Stuttering John. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. The scanner broke. Yeah. This is so fucking retarded. This is an actual lawsuit taking up time in courts. Oh my God. This is like, I can expect pro se shit to happen here. And then finally, Stuttering John and his attorneys did this. And this is... I got a lot to say about this because I saw this and I was just really, really... Anyways, it's from an email. It's to Danny Savalos. And it is from Benedict Advisors. Apparently, they don't fucking advise you on the right course of action. But, oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Dated September 11th. It says, Dear Mr. Savalos, good morning. Okay, I hope that you are well. First, I would like to make it clear that I hope to have an amicable professional relationship with you on this case. What, like, skip with the fucking preambles, but also, when I see this, that's a warning flag that you're a fucking asshole and you're going to be a big dickhead on a case. I think it serves best our clients at court in New York State professional legal community. What, like, why do we fucking need this? Why do we need this? I don't know. I look forward to working with you on this case amicably, and I have respect for you and your firm. I look forward to, like, you could start off with this and that would have been fine, but, like, as opposed to not amicably because you have a courtesy to work with all, you know, fellow attorneys in a collegial environment. I have respect for you and your firm. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Reading that, that's just gay. That's gay. Second, I spoke with our client. Our client is seeking a resolution of this matter. So already, nothing's happened yet. You're now begging to get your complaint amended for the second time. Carl's attorney has dropped a fucking bomb on you and has got his boot heel on your throat. And you're like, we want to settle so long as you collectively agree to refrain from using his name, image, likeness, audio, visual, and persona. I mean, this is like you got into a fist fight, and as soon as you got punched, you're like, ow, ow, time out, this hurts. Like, no, buddy, the fucking fight's commenced. You kicked this off. It's like dropping the puck and trying to call timeout right away. No, it's fucking time. It's time. You guys are making fun of Stuttering John flushing money down the drain. No, this is the attorney. Shame on this attorney for doing this. Shame on this attorney for doing this. What kind of no-dick faggot attorney are you where you're going to go groveling. Like, if I had a client who wanted to do this, I'd say, I'm not your fucking attorney anymore. I want to quit. I'm not going to fucking do this. This is bitch-made faggot bullshit. Coming in here groveling like this. Well, actually, Mr. Attorney Man, no harm, no foul. No. Like, come on. This is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. This is like that guy in Tombstone, one of the Clantons. Ike Clanton, as soon as he started shooting, he's like, I don't have a gun. Please don't kill me. Ah! It's like, the fight's on, brother. Get the fucking fighting or get out. Like, no, this is gay. This is really gay. This is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'd be fucking embarrassed to write this letter. I wouldn't fucking, honestly, I wouldn't fucking write this letter. I would not fucking write this letter. Glenn Shannon says the lawyer understands where he stands in this case, is trying to find a no-loss exit. There's not a no-loss, because if I was Carl and Shuley, I'd be moving for fucking sanctions. They should be moving for sanctions on this guy. Maybe they have already. I don't know. You got the 21-day rule, safe harbors and whatnot. They should be moving for sanctions against the attorney as well. Like, you need to fucking go after people, because this is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. And if you thought your client was perpetrating a fraud, you don't try to settle, you fucking stop. You stop and cut your losses and you get out. And you may have to deal with the aftermath of not doing due diligence. But them trying to fucking no loss exit, that should not be in the cards for this attorney. Fuck that. Fuck this guy. Not you, Glenn, but I'm just saying this is bullshit. Man. He says, third, I would ask you to consider a stipulation providing you and your firm and our firm agree to move the return dates for all motions to the 23rd. That's not out of the question to ask for a reasonable, like, can we extend a timeline from this Friday to next week, next Tuesday? That's not out of the question, but the problem is, this would normally not be a problem, but here, you have a bigger problem. You want to do all this, but now you're seeking a bullshit resolution of no settlement. Well, guess what? This is all in bad faith now. I think this is all in bad faith. The attorney's not. Oh, Glenn said I said trying, not succeeding in doing so. Yeah. He's not acting good faith. If his claim bamboozled him, you can get out of stuff. You're gonna take a hit. But no, this guy's entirely on board with Stuttering John. This is not my client, because I've had cases where, like, somebody retains you and you get going and, like, you're like, I need to back out. Too late. Like, hey, look, you call opposing counsel. Hey, Phil. Hey, Joe. Hey, look, man, this is actually not what I thought it was. I'm going to get out. I'm withdrawing, rule 1.16, get out. But this right here is, this is, no, these guys are helping John shake this down. This is fucking horseshit. This is fucking horseshit. And they say, more importantly, I think it's time to discuss a settlement. The settlement should be two words: fuck and you. That should be the settlement. I think this would be in the best interest of our clients. It's not in the best interest of Carl and Shuley. The only settlement they should be interested in is telling John to go fucking jump off a bridge. So, John sued his lawyer prior to this. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. So once again, chat, this is an example of finding a lawyer who's like you. If you're all uptight and stuff, you might need a lawyer who's a little loose and lax. If you're loose and lax, you need a lawyer who's a little bit uptight and stuffy. You need somebody to kind of contrast you. You don't need somebody who is you. So, this is just garbage. Please let me know as soon as possible your agreeable stipulation. I would say fuck off at this point. That would benefit us both. No one won't benefit us both. And mutually giving us a little time and space to discuss a possible resolution. There's going to be no settlement. Unconditional surrender is all they want. Fuck this. Respectfully, Taber Benedict. Yeah, some fucking advisors they're giving some great fucking advice. Also, isn't like 917, isn't that like an LA phone number? I thought like other ones were for New York City. And then he CC'd another attorney. Yeah, this is just fucking pussy mode. It's like, you smell that? Smells like pussy. That's what this is. This is, people who are trying to avoid getting fucked. That's all this is right now. And fuck these. If I'm Carl and Show's attorney, I'm basically telling him fuck these faggots. Fuck these faggots. Go forward and crush them, and they should. And I hope they do. Maybe he didn't win Discovery as much as he thought. Yeah. Sign all those, and that's a funny thing. They're doing this while he's signing all these fucking affidavits. Yep, smells like bitch in here. So, Tabber bitch addict. Did you read the Benedict Daily Mail article from 2023? The guy's Timu Patrick Bateman. Don't know anything about him. I'll read it. I'll go. Oh, hold on here. Tabber Benedict 2013 Daily Mail. It's like the IRA song in the Daily Mail. The man from the Daily Mail. Holy shit. This guy looks like the dude. Looks like the God, what is his name? Jamie from fucking Yellowstone. Holy shit. Holy shit. He looks exactly like Jamie from Yellowstone. Oh, he's like a lol cow in his own right. See, a lol cow found a lol cow attorney. This never works well. He threw himself a farewell party as awaited sentencing for a drunk DUI crash, which really killed a teacher, buddy. He could have facing up to 10 years in jail. He threw it at a lavish going away party at Chelsea's Bungalow 8. Okay, so this guy doesn't give a shit. It's not like he's going to get hurt if he gets sanctioned. This guy pisses away money, it looks like. He lied to everybody about going to Europe. He was drinking at a friend's house in the Hamptons. Well, yeah, well, there you go. You got handshakes in the Hamptons and getting drunk in the mansions with you. When his girlfriend said, come see me in Manhattan. So he comes hauling ass down through Long Island. And yeah. So he took to the road in his SUV at 8 a.m. More than 3 times over the legal limit. 8 a.m. in the morning, you're that plastered still. That's some good stuff. He then hit a guy on a bike, which, okay, now I'm like, you're hitting a guy on a bicycle. Are you really that bad of a guy? I mean, bicyclists are untrustworthy people, so it's like, I mean, it happens. He drove at 0.24. I've had clients do that. Like, some of them are all over the road, but some of them are like, okay. I mean, you'd be amazed at the things you can do when you're blackout drunk. How is 0.24 is not even close to getting killed. Especially if you have a good drinking tolerance, 0.24 ain't that bad. So Sean did the same. I did not drive. I've never driven blackout that I ever know of. So he then fled the scene. Ooh, that's never good. He then hit another car and drove for 2 miles before being stopped. So the guy sounds like he survived because he didn't go like kill him. They said he's like, I have a 9-inch laceration that goes from my back to my stomach. Yeah, that sounds like he got bad there. They also criticized him for not apologizing until he met in court. Well, that part, okay, that's gay. He's trying to defend himself. He's not going to do that. I'm endorsing DUI against bicyclist. Yes. Against bicyclist. Yes. Joe says, hey, sorry, Joe. He pled guilty to 10 charges, including vehicular assault, DUI, leave a scene accident, and he was disbarred from practicing law. Well, apparently he got it back. He was given a 3 to 10 year sentence. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, there you go. He had won a scholarship to Colgate while working in the school library. Well, that's fancy. Colgate's not a bad school. I got some I got some literature there from them. I thought about filling an application, did not go. Then he went to Columbia Law School, which not bad. And then he worked at White and Case. Well, there you. I mean, that's Oh, I like this. Trump warns Seth Meyers is next. Good. Fucking run all these cocksuckers out up top. But he worked at White and Case. That's like one of the guys. Remember how I told you, like, Bob Alessi works at DLA Piper? White and Case is one of the biggest law firms of the world. I mean, that's, that's no slouch. No slouch. I mean, here are the largest law firms in the world. White and Case, their revenue is $3.3 billion. They have 2,500 lawyers. Revenue per lawyer is $1.2 million, and for the partners, $4 million. Yeah. So he's definitely probably took advantage of everything. He family and all that, but I'm sure he's not retarded. Well, I'd like to say he's not retarded, but reading this, oh my God, the guy's fucking retarded. Like, I don't know how you can work at White and Case and make as shitty a product as this so far. I mean, chat, this is that same guy working at one of the biggest law firms in the world. And he does this. So, yes, Colgate is up in upstate New York, although really it's not like all the way like Plattsburgh north, but it's in a nice place. It's very nice. Yeah, is he in their ADA hire? Yeah. Okay, so he served almost the full 10 years. Ooh, man. He must have shit all over his fucking parole if they made him do all 10. Okay. So your youngest went to Hamilton, which is near Colgate, yeah. Is it actually a criminal law firm? Actually, criminal law firm. Yes, I do criminal law work. Yes. I'm an attorney in Cleveland. So, but yeah, I don't understand how you do this. You like really like I just don't understand. So, he's an ambulance chaser now, yeah, but he's an actually criminal law firm. I mean, it's hack. See, he could join the hack verse. Like, let him fill out an application. He can come do Hackamania. He could go to Hackamania because he really is a hack. So, Ed says, my brother went to Fordham Law for his degree. What's better than University of Toledo? I'm just saying. I think he got his master's degree at John Jay. He was pretty cool because the graduation was at the Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I bet it was. I bet it was nice. Kia Patrick says, hire someone who would call your hobby gay and hate seeing you. I mean, kind of. Captain Mojo says, Vince is a former Stern hanger-on who basically milked the retarded whack packers for clout. He's basically doing the same thing as Stuttering John. Okay. I mean, like I said, I kind of like in high school and stuff, like ONA used to be on out here in Cleveland. And like, I remember like, all the critical events like Sex for Sam and, like doing the homeless shopping sprees. And then I had XM for a little while, and then when they kind of like partway through college, I kind of quit Karen. So let's go to the phones. No way. Your mom's box. I should have ended on that tonight. Walter Malone for $10. Thank you, Walter. Says I haven't thought of the Whack Pack or Stuttering John since high school. The towers were still up then. Oof. Takedown says Stuttering John doesn't mention that the lawyer he had tried to scare Shuley and Carl. Ended up agreeing with Shuley and Carl and told Stuttering John to pound sand. Good. And Kate has snaked him like 5 times in a row now. Well, there you go. They say if you haven't checked, check Tabor Benedict's criminal record. Well, I think we just did here, Doug. Thank you. Domo Agro for $2 says hilarious, right? Red says, do you think Carl and John will be able to countersue for legal fees? I'm sure they're already asking for attorney's fees. In that motion they filed, the motion to dismiss, they're asking for attorney's fees. And they should be getting them. They should get attorney's fees and cost. So thank you for being here, Red. And then Ag Biochemist for $49.99. Thank you, Ag. Says chat Sean and 2.0 are the absolute best. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. 2.0 is really the best. I'm just a retard who comes on camera and screams. I'm just a retard. Like I said, I'm a retarded guy who comes on camera and screams the N-word and rants about communism needing to be extinguished. So that's all I do. Annoyed Wawa supervisor says John is actually banned from store number 5356, located in Cape Coral, Florida, for recording people while trying to prove our gas pumps were off. Sad, really. And Doug Gibson, were you aware John had recently had a failed lawsuit against SiriusXM? Yes. I learned about that because we read the motion to dismiss where all this shit basically had been litigated already in federal court. So yes, I did know about that. I do know I learned a little bit of the lore. In the meantime, I was like, was I going to do it? I thought about looking into that stuff, but I was like, Charlie Kirk got killed and we're on the verge of like civil war and we may have to are we going to start having a shadow war of gunning down political opponents? And I also just had like real fucking lawyer shit to do that was paying. So I took care of that instead. But yes, I do know a little bit. So thank you, Doug. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being here, by the way. Thank you. Hold on here. Sorry, Clyde's just like standing here looking at me. Like, come on, bud. Come on. I got your Clyde treats. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on, Dingle. I need you to jump up here, buddy. I'm a little too fat to grab you. Come on. Hey. Come on. All right. Give me a second, chat. He's fat. Just being fat. Come on. Come on, Clyde. Hey. Hey. You little fucking turd monster. Come here. I pick him up and he's like, he jumps into my arms. He's like, I needed to make you move, fat man. This little son of a bitch. See, Chad, he's not green anymore. All the grass got washed off. 2.0 gave him a shower. Anyways, here we go. Let's see what else you guys have to say. Is he on the Frank White level? Yes. Yes, same thing. He's like Frank White. Kate is 24 and John is 60. Yeah. The idea John thought he even had a fucking chance. What a fucking tool. Oh. What a fucking toolbox. Sex for Sam was O&A, though. Yeah, I mean, but like, it's all part of that Dabbleverse is like O&A fans and Howard Stern fans. I mean, Anthony Cumia is like a part of the Dabbleverse and recurring character. I mean, Anthony did a whole thing where he talked about it, Stuttering John, for like 20, 30 minutes, I think. So, yeah. Anthony Cumia loves shitting on him. There's a female lawyer, cow on the farms, Bex Gerber. She has a husband who's a California bar lawyer. Dude's dumber than a box of rocks. Well, there we go. Sexer Sam was ONA on WNEW. Yeah, I know. Like, I remember that whole thing happening. It was funny. I listened to it. Red says, anytime. Love when you shit on Destiny. Well, he's got phimosis and cheese pizza, and he's a communist. There's not enough walls to put him on. There are not enough walls. And Anna Kasparian fucking clipped his nuts on Piers Morgan. That was so beautiful. She fucking owned him, and she went into that shit about texting women. Oh my God. She fucking, Anna fucking came out with the steel chair and started beating his ass. Yeah. Oh. Stuttering John's litigious as shit. Yeah, it looks like it. He got the serious case dropped on his birthday. Well, that's good. Did you realize the FCC stepped in to get Nexstar to remove Kimmel, and that it was just Disney? I don't know. If that did, I don't like that, but we'll see. We'll see. So, John Gort says he's cute. Well, of course he's cute. He's a dog. He thinks he owns Clyde. I do. I do own Clyde. It's either me or the Haitians, buddy. Do you want that? Do you want the Haitians? Huh? He's like, no. That green was grass? Yes. He rolled around in the grass. Yes. We have really nice grass in the backyard. I don't know what I did, but we have very nice grass back there. So, Shuli used to tour with Beetlejuice. Stacey said, anyone doing anything related to Charlie Kirk? You mean like tonight? We're gonna probably, I don't know about members only, but if he just declared Antifa a terrorist organization, man, I think I want to. If there's an official proclamation, I want to see it. If it is, we might go live on that. Anna castrated him. Yes, she did. Yeah, you got the 2-point conversion. They went into the confession booths. They went in the confessional at St. Pat's into the 2-point conversion, I think. If you guys don't know, the 2-point conversion was, you could have sex for 1 point, but the 2-point conversion was going up the poop chute. Anna's no saint, guys. I know she's not, but she's taking the fight to Destiny, and anybody who fucks with Destiny is hilarious to watch. It's like watching Godzilla and Mothra fight. I'm gonna cheer it on. I hope they both have fun. The FCC did. I mean, well, hey, they called him. If they called Trump a fascist, I guess we're getting fascism now. So, Clyde got in the markers. No. Let's see here. Why are you gay? Because. Why are you gay? Did you hear about the banana plane that got too close to Air Force One? Yes. Yes, I did. Hold on, Clyde, I gotta set you down, buddy. My ear. Ow. I dropped him down and he. Ow. Fuck. Yeah, he just got wrapped up in my cord, so it was like pulling on my head. I was like getting tied up with that. Yes, but there was a Spirit Airlines who got way too close to Air Force One, and they had to keep yelling at the pilots, and they weren't paying attention. I bet ATC gave that pilot a number to call when he landed. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, probably not. They didn't get that close, but they definitely got within the zone. So, every government is authoritarian. It is. But remember, they're the ones screaming, Trump's a Nazi. It's like, if you really thought he was a Nazi and a fascist, you're like, tweeting about it's not going to do anything. So, yeah, they got 8 nautical miles away so they could see it. The chief pilot was called for sure. Yeah, I don't know if they gave him a number to call or not. So, Can Destiny be deported to Ghana? He'd love it with all the black men there. So, all right. With that said, though, chat, we are kind of all caught up here. I want to make sure. Did I just miss this? Fire PA? No, I did. So thank you, Fire PA, for the super chat. But no, ultimately, guys, yes, this case should die a horrible death, but it's probably not going to. It's probably going to drag on just because lolcows have that ability. Like I said, you don't have to think Carl and Shirley are the best guys in the world to say this is a bullshit lawsuit they're fighting, and hopefully they win it. So, support Destiny Spicer. Yeah. Are we going to do locals? No, we were going to do members only here on YouTube. But if there is an official proclamation of Antifa being labeled a terrorist group, we're going to fucking cover that. So we'll cover that here. Glenn says, and we'll end on this. My Cessna got too close to Offutt Air Force Base. That's out in Omaha, chat. That's Strategic Air Command once. And I got an uncomfortable conversation when I called the number. Yeah. And depending on, was this during the Cold War? That'd have been rough. So I saw he released Truth. We saw that. But if it's not an official proclamation, it hasn't happened yet. So that's what we need. So, 1996? Yeah, I mean, at least you're not doing the middle of the Cold War. You would have the FBI at your door. I got a grift while the grifting's good. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but we'll see. I need to look real quick. Otherwise, we'll do members only here on YouTube. But guys, if you're a member, if you're green, we'll be able to take advantage of that. Oh, I forgot. He is in Britain right now. Yeah, he's still there, still embarrassing the King of England for being a cuck. So, with that said, chat, like I said, we will get this and we'll cover more as it happens here. But I thought it was perfect timing, the amount of stuff to cover. And also something a little bit of levity. Something funny. Not all doom and gloom here. So, chat, Debbie O for Ted sobs. Let's fucking Still the only time we've ever gotten Clyde do a woo on camera. So, Debbie O, thank you for your support and your generosity. And guys, I am going to land here. So, remember, guys, we have the Thursday show, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow night. We got a lot to go over. Maybe a declaration of domestic terrorism. We'll find out. But remember, until next time, chat, as always, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although I think Stuttering John is guilty of perjury in this instance because he's clearly lying and he knows he's lying. And I hope nothing more than they break his back in this lawsuit. So, suffer, Stuttering John, suffer. Suffering John is what it'll be known as soon. Good night, chat, and I'll see you guys shortly. Do it if I can click on the thing right.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy that Kate yelled at? Why, yes it was.